never dreamed in a million years I'd ever be a Catholic. In fact, I spent a good part of my time evangelizing Catholics. I could usually pick a Catholic off a tree like a ripe peach because they hadn't been taught to defend their faith. And I met my wife and we got married and had our family and homeschooled our kids. And up until the time I was 39 years old when I converted, my wife and I had never once set foot in a Catholic church. We had never once met a Catholic priest. And sadly enough, we had never once met a Catholic who could explain or defend the faith. And then our journey, people say, what was it that you saw beautiful about the Catholic Church? You know, what was it like the St. Peter's glowing in the sun? What was it that made you want to come to the Catholic Church? I said, nothing. There was nothing about the... And the Catholics that I knew were the biggest argument against the Catholic Church. Why would I want to be a Catholic? My journey did not come and begin with seeing anything good about Catholicism. It came about by seeing the problems within Protestantism. Sometimes you have to find out you're sick before you look for a doctor. I had to see the problems. There are very quickly three of them. What is worship? I realized, my wife and I, that listening to someone preach on Sunday morning was not worship. No matter how many guitars you had and how many speakers and how much you pump up the volume, that doesn't make worship. There was something missing. We didn't know what it was until we discovered the Eucharist. Second of all, I loved the Bible. I have 20,000 books in my house. Most of them are about the Bible and church history and so on. But the more books I bought, the more I realized evangelicals, even my own tight-knit circle, we couldn't agree on what those words meant in that book. Who is the judge of what this means? Should you baptize an infant or not? Can you lose your salvation or not? Over and over, these main important issues would come up, and there was no judge. Good evangelicals disagreed. So I had the problem of who interprets the Bible. There was no one. It was me. I had to become Pope Steve. I had to become the final word for my own life. Then the third one was morals. What does God expect me to do with my body, with my money, with my life? And I realized that even you could pick any street. On one side of the street, you have Burger King, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, KFC. And when I go to lunch, how do I decide where to go? What do I feel like today, a pizza or a hamburger? On Sunday morning, I drive down the road and I see on this side Baptist, Methodist, Lutheran, Nazarene, Assembly of God. How do I decide what church I go to? Americans usually decide the same way they pick their restaurant. What do I feel like today? Do I want to not have a guilty conscience? So I'll go to a church that says everything's okay. Do I want to sing and have entertainment? Then go to one that pumps up the volume with the cappuccino holder cup. You know, you put this cup right here and you get ready for the show to begin. How did I know what to do with my life? Morals. Because there are churches up and down the street that would fit any morals I want. I pick them based on what I wanted. And I realized, both because of what worship was, who interprets Scripture, and what about morals, there was something seriously flawed with Protestantism. And it was then I could almost have become an agnostic. I remember thinking, how do I even know the Bible's true? Who tells me there's 27 books in the Bible? How do I know that? Who has the authority to close the canon and tell me? And then a friend of